7 figures in one niche is pretty straightforward thing to do. Don't be jumping into lots of different niches thinking that it's going to make you more money. Okay. Well, and remember, you only need to have one single niche, one single industry. Think about that for a minute. The temptation is like, okay, if I am in 20 different niches, then, I'm going to make more money. But that isn't the actual case. That's not actually what happens. When you split yourself across many different niches, you just don't have that niche knowledge. And then it's much harder to actually get sales. And some people think, well, surely if I'm in one niche, maybe I'll get like 5 clients, but then I'll max out, or maybe I'll get 10 clients and max out. So if I go into 10 niches, I'll be able to get 100 clients. It'll be easy to get 100 clients if I go in every niche than, to get 100 clients if I just specialize in one. And so people drastically underestimate the size and the money available in a single niche, even when it's very, very obscure.
Hey, I'm Chris Munch, and welcome to DropServe, where we help you land more agency sales without having to do the actual client work.
So I'm going to give you some proof here and some stories to kind of drill this point home. Well, this is a 7 to 8 figure agency, right, in the plumbing and air conditioning space. So it's kind of in 2 niches, but they're related in a similar type of audience. And this company is doing at least 7 figures. They got 35 employees, so it probably puts them maybe somewhere between, on the very low end, like 2 million. But 35 employees are probably like at least 5 and maybe even 10 million per year or over. So this is not an uncommon story. 7 figures in one niche is pretty straightforward thing to do. And so don't be jumping into lots of different niches thinking that it's going to make you more money. Okay. Denka, a long-time Amplifier user, he here has got a story about how he's closed here another $150,000 deal. And you'll see Denka post in our groups pretty regularly with like different success stories that he's been having, right? And different results that he's been having. And so Denka does over $1 million per year now. But when he started with us, he was already had like a little bit of an agency doing SEO stuff, and it was burning him out. It was really complicated to be offering all of these different services in all of these different niches. And so then he followed our training and he simplified his business, right? So he just offering primarily amps. That was like 80-90% of what he offered. He didn't realize it at the time, but he worked in just one specific niche. He thought he was in several different niches, but he actually really started in one. So his client base was like maybe across, say, like 4 or 5 niches. But how he got the clients was all in the same way. He would go to local business events, right? Chamber of Commerce events. And he mastered how to go to these Chamber of Commerce events, right? And what to say at them, how to give out the business cards, how to speak to people, what to say and what not to say. And he didn't do any selling, right? So he didn't sell, but he followed our training, was able to apply it by actually going to these meetings, right? And then putting a bit of his own spin on it. He's shared some of this stuff in the group. And that was his niche. His niche was businesses that attended Chamber of Commerce. Edward, okay, also been with us some years. He focuses primarily on 2 niches, which is really like related to real estate. It's like contractor and building and real estate, like an office rental and things like this, okay? So he's got like a little story here of, how he has used AMPS and our content strategy to rank himself, number one, also rank his clients on the front page, right? From a post which he did using our hook mixing strategy, which we teach in the Amplifier course, and then promoting it with an AMP, he got his own site to rank high for a very specific term, which was targeting clients. And then from that, he ended up getting inquiries, which ended up with about $40,000 in income. He wasn't spread across tons and tons of different niches, and he tried overall to specialize in, even like a sub niche of real estate. That was one of the primary areas which he focused on. Josh. So Josh started with us in early 2023, first 3 or 4 months, didn't close a client, realized that it was because he wasn't warming up his email addresses because he'd skipped that in the course, right? And so he wasn't getting the results he needed to. Then he fixed that. And then he got, clients in some random niches just to begin with, just like you have. Fast forward, about 6 months, he was at 17 plus clients in 6 countries, right? So about a year later, after he understood like he really needed to pick up the volume, do the warm up and all of this stuff, he ended up with 17 clients. Last time I checked in with him a few months back, he was doing about close to 30,000 a month. Okay. Now, I don't know at which point he made the shift, but I think it was maybe like 6 or 7 clients in. he focused on a specific niche. And the niche was businesses that had just done a certain action. He was able to see when businesses had done a certain thing, let's just say it was a certain marketing activity, right? Maybe comparatively, you could say, let's just say they've launched a Facebook ad, and then he would contact them. Okay, so he had to figure out how to do that, required, some technical wizardry. So after, he was already making, a few thousand per month, he then started to specialize in doing it this way and then scaled up and ramped up pretty crazy, okay, and then continued to do so, right? And so again, focusing on one niche, and this was, not an industry, it was based on more like an activity and what they're doing, but the businesses all had the same thing in common. So the way to pitch and the way to sell, the way to get their attention was very, very specific to that, which made him stand out. 7 figures in one niche is pretty straightforward thing to do. Don't be jumping into lots of different niches thinking that it's going to make you more money.